On August 2, 1990, the world watched in shock as Iraq, led by Saddam Hussein, invaded Kuwait, igniting a conflict that would change the Middle East forever. The invasion was swift and brutal, with Iraqi forces overwhelming Kuwait in just 2 days, claiming disputes over oil fields and debts as their justification. The international community responded with outrage, and the United Nations quickly passed resolutions demanding Iraq's withdrawal and imposing sanctions. As the crisis escalated, US President George H.W. Bush and British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher rallied a coalition of 42 countries to stand against Iraq. Operation Desert Shield began, with coalition forces amassing in Saudi Arabia to protect it from potential Iraqi aggression and prepare for a counterattack. On January 17, 1991, Operation Desert Storm was launched, marking the start of a relentless aerial bombing campaign against Iraqi military targets. For 42 days and nights, coalition aircraft pounded Iraq, targeting command centers, communication lines, and infrastructure, aiming to cripple Saddam's war machine. Iraq retaliated by launching Scud missiles at Israel and Saudi Arabia, hoping to fracture the coalition, but the alliance held firm. The coalition's air superiority was undeniable, with advanced technology like the F-117 Nighthawk and precision-guided munitions playing crucial roles. On February 24, 1991, the ground assault began, with coalition forces swiftly advancing into Kuwait and southern Iraq, encountering minimal resistance. The Battle of Hafji was a significant early engagement, where coalition forces repelled an Iraqi attack on the Saudi city, showcasing the effectiveness of air power. As coalition forces pushed forward, they encountered the infamous Highway of Death, where retreating Iraqi forces were decimated by relentless airstrikes. The ground campaign saw some of the largest tank battles in history, including the Battle of 73 Easting, where US forces decimated Iraqi armored divisions. The coalition's advance was rapid and decisive, with British and American forces leading the charge, liberating Kuwait City within days. Saddam's forces, overwhelmed and demoralized, set fire to Kuwaiti oil wells in a desperate act of scorched earth, causing an environmental disaster. On February 28, 1991, after just 100 hours of ground combat, President Bush declared a ceasefire, and Kuwait was officially liberated. The war showcased the power of modern military technology and the effectiveness of coalition warfare, but it also left a legacy of destruction and suffering. The conflict marked the first time live news broadcasts from the front lines were seen, with CNN providing real-time coverage, earning it the nickname Video Game War. The Gulf War also highlighted the devastating impact of war on civilians, with thousands of Iraqi and Kuwaiti lives lost and infrastructure destroyed. In the aftermath, the coalition established a demilitarized zone along the Iraq-Kuwait border and imposed strict sanctions on Iraq. The war's end did not bring peace to the region, as uprisings against Saddam's regime erupted in Iraq, leading to further bloodshed and repression. The Gulf War had far-reaching geopolitical implications, reshaping alliances and influencing future US foreign policy in the Middle East. The conflict also exposed the limitations of military intervention, as Saddam Hussein remained in power, leading to a decade of tension and eventual conflict in 2003. The environmental damage from the oil fires and the use of depleted uranium munitions had long-term health impacts on both soldiers and civilians. The war's legacy includes the controversial Gulf War syndrome, affecting thousands of veterans with unexplained illnesses and health issues. Despite the coalition's victory, the Gulf War left unresolved issues, including the plight of Kuwaiti prisoners of war and the humanitarian crisis in Iraq. The war demonstrated the importance of international cooperation and the role of the United Nations in addressing global conflicts. It also highlighted the need for careful consideration of the human and environmental costs of war, lessons that remain relevant today. The Gulf War remains a pivotal moment in modern history, a testament to the complexities of international relations and the enduring quest for peace and stability. As we reflect on the Gulf War, we remember the sacrifices made by soldiers and civilians alike and the ongoing challenges in the region. The story of the Gulf War is a reminder of the power of unity and the importance of standing against aggression and tyranny. In the end, the Gulf War was not just a battle for territory, but a fight for the principles of sovereignty, justice, and the hope for a better future.